Hi, Barb Iversen, home office, Minneapolis. Okay, I want to talk about the Vikings. Okay, well, thankfully we won our game today, finally, in London against Pittsburgh, although it was really close there at the end. Let me get this more evened out. Okay. Anyways, there's a problem that I have with the Vikings and their offense. Offensive coordinator Bill Musgrave. Okay, now I don't know everything that maybe I should. Okay, and I'm not going to look all these rules up and stuff like that. I'm going to leave that to you. If you know all this stuff, that's okay. Then you can tell me, edify me, please. Okay. Well, it seems to me that there's something called a tackle eligible play that you can tell the refs that this tackle on this play is eligible. So that, if he goes out downfield, don't call him illegal man downfield because he could be eligible to catch the pass. Okay, I'm sure you all knew that. Okay, well, I'm assuming that possibly if you have another player in a position that you normally wouldn't have lined up at, that you can just tell the refs for that play, this person is, whatever. I don't know, maybe that's not possible. And, I know that there's penalties sometimes if people get for illegal formation. I'm not talking about doing illegal formation or anything, but, and I don't know all of, I know that you can only have a certain number of people on the line of scrimmage, but then some people, even when you have receivers out, some of them line up on the line of scrimmage and some line up just like a step or two backwards, off the line of scrimmage. So, that's what they would do. Is like when I say things like lining up in the wide receiver spot or wide out or whatever, they would know how to line up. Okay, so I'm not telling them specifically to line up or in the slot. I'm not sure if that's behind the quarterback in the backfield, or if that's the slot. If that's just off the line of scrimmage on the wide open. I don't know all that. Well, with the personnel that the Vikings have, why can't they come up with more inventive plays? Now, like today on Adrian Peterson's 50-yard run, Joe Webb was lined up as one of the receivers who was off the line of scrimmage, but he made the key block on the linebacker that sprang Adrian for the 50 yards. Well, that was brilliant, Use Joe Webb. But don't just use him as a blocker. Maybe sometimes get him the ball. Maybe have him lined up like that and do a reverse with Adrian or fake a reverse or whatever. Line up Christian Ponder as a running back. He'd be a good running back. He sucks as quarterback. So now we got Matt Cassell, Okay, well, Marcus Sherrills. Yes, he's a defensive, he's a cornerback, right? Well, he's also the punt returner. Well, there were a couple of plays towards the end of the game, he was lined up as a kick returner instead of Cordell Patterson. Okay, well, why can't his number is 35. Why can't he line up in a running back position? If nothing else, isn't going to confuse the defense, and that might be worth it because possibly you get a timeout. Get a timeout that's burned. That would be worth it right there. Get the defense confused. Who's going to do what, where, when, and how? Marcus Sherrills, use Cordell Patterson as a running back possibly. Jerome Simpson, same thing. Jarius Wright, Greg Jennings. Who else have I got on my list here? Jerome Felton, of course, AP. AP could line up in the wideout position. He went deep last year and caught the ball. How about Harrison Smith? And, of course, Joe Webb. There's so many different plays they could do, and you can line up with the same play or with, some kind of reverse goofy thing, like with Marcus Sherrills in there or Harrison Smith and Joe Webb, and it's like Christian Ponder. It's like and Matt Cassell is like, okay, who's going to get the ball and where and what and who's going, which one, and maybe the defense will call a timeout. Okay, so what you do during the timeout, maybe you change your formation so that after they come back, now you're in a different formation. And they're like, oh, great, we were planning for that other one that they had. Or maybe you line up exactly like you had, but you decide to run a different play. Maybe you could have one or two plays, or 3 or 4, whatever, have people line up in certain positions, but because of what your audible is, or because of some things that you say in the count or whatever, maybe people will run different ways than they did the last time. Maybe none of this makes sense. Maybe all this is just stupid, and it's just I'm showing my ignorance of football here. But it seems to me that there could be a lot more inventive ways to play football. Anyways, that's just my little beef, I guess, about the Minnesota Vikings. I'm glad they got the win. It was a little bit ugly. Surprised, actually, that we held on. But I'm glad Adrian had his biggest game yet. So I haven't even checked his full stats yet, so I'll have to do that, and I'll have to, on the bottom of this blog or in this blog will be his stats and his chart as far as, like his progress so far and how many yards he needs for this, or needs to average XX to get this far, and like my other blogs have been. But anyways, as for now, that's my take on the Minnesota Vikings and my update about football. One of these days I'll get to, I'll finally talk about my college football picks, my favorite teams, stuff like that. I'll talk to you later. All right. Thanks. Bye.